I'm Barbra Solt, a fairly long-term member of Augustana. On this day, we commemorate Saints Peter and Paul. As we will hear in the first scripture reading for today, Acts 12, tells of how Peter was imprisoned by Herod, who was persecuting Jesus' followers. An angel appears and tells Peter to get up and follow him. Peter's chains drop away and doors open, and Peter goes to Mary's house to tell her he's been freed. Would that it would be so easy. A few years ago, several other Augustanans and I were confronted with the reality of today's prison system when a long and faithful member and friend informed us that he had been arrested and faced a mandatory sentence of more than a few years. We were stunned, but set on a path of learning and support by being his family. He provides us with firsthand examples of what prisoners and their families need and of how practice is quite different from policy. We also have learned how poorly trained many corrections staff are about how for-profit prisons operate, and of the struggles of prisoners' families, and of those inmates who have lost their family support, never receiving any letters or visits at all. Of course, we must also remember the loss experienced by victims and their families. The work of seeking justice is indeed complex, and this being an imperfect world, injustice is something we need to keep striving to overcome. So today we are calling on you to carry the light and faith of Pentecost to see how we can help loosen the chains of our nation's criminal justice system. Recent media accounts have reported on how much greater a percentage of Americans are imprisoned for longer periods of time than any developed country. We also are learning how expensive our current system is and how it breeds recidivism rather than correction. There are plenty of ways to be involved, from letter writing to legislative reforming. Several of us are embarking on a period of equipping ourselves and finding approaches to action. We will start with the newly adopted ELCA social statement in your pews by the hymnals, and then use other recent books to gather around with each other for discussion and sharing ideas of how we might assist not only our member friend, but others who have no ears or voice in the community. Watch for announcements of our next meeting, including a brief one today after coffee hour, and please take a copy of the social statement as you leave church today. Thank you, and Breana is going to share her piece of this puzzle as well.
Thank you, Barbara. Hi, my name is Uhrig-Castonguay, and I'm a fairly new member of Augustana, and I get sent to jail 3 times a week. Fortunately, I get to leave jail 3 times a week too, but the experience lingers. As an HIV/AIDS researcher for the George Washington University, I witnessed firsthand the statistic that 20% of all HIV/AIDS cases in the United States will pass through our correctional system. In addition to these health disparities, racial and socioeconomic disparities propagate the entire correctional system. When I entered jail, I noticed 3 things. 1, the majority are African American. In fact, 1 out of every 3 African Americans in this country will encounter the criminal justice system. 2, the majority are young, and their correctional record will establish a perpetual roadblock they must endure the rest of their lives. 3, the majority are serving time for nonviolent drug offenses with little to no options for getting help with their substance dependence while incarcerated. So we are currently treating addiction as a moral issue and locking people up. I got involved in this work because I believe we can do better. We need to do better. For our friends who struggle with addiction, for our African American brothers and sisters, for our Santa Maria family and the horrors of the immigration detention system, I look forward to working with my Augustanan family and other churches in the area on this issue and hope you will join us today at 12:30 in the library. Thank you.